Host Neil Johnson. I decided to go 5 minutes early because I just want to get this out there, folks. There is something major happening in the U.S. Senate. We all need to be aware of it. We can actually take action on this one and hopefully make this change. But the Democrats are celebrating right now. I don't want to understate that. In fact, every mainstream media outlet is calling this a win for Democrats. They're very excited about it, which means you should be very concerned. It's pretty wild. This is dealing with the one big, beautiful bill. And we have seen improvements made to that bill over the course of time, and now all those improvements seem to be going away. By the way, thank you all for calling Senator Mike Lee's office, complaining about the sale of public lands out west. He is moderating his position on that, so please keep up the good work. I can talk a little bit about that at the end of the stream, but please do smash that like. Do chat in with where you're from. I see you there, Patrick. I see you there, Crazy Cat Lady. So thanks for joining me today. So here we go. I'm going to go to NPR, okay, just to hear Democrats rejoicing over this. Medicaid changes don't meet Senate rules in big, beautiful bill, Senate Parliamentarian. Let me give you another headline from MSNBC. Senate Parliamentarian deals another blow to GOP mega bill. The latest rulings are part of a series of setbacks for Republicans as the party works to deliver Trump's bill by his July 4th deadline. Okay, it gets worse as I go in. I do need to mention my sponsor really quickly, folks. That's Birch Gold. You guys know I'm a big believer in gold and silver. Okay, get yourself physical stuff, not just paper crap, where only 4% of the gold and silver exists. That's then traded in paper on the COMEX. It's pretty wild stuff. So, the central banks have been buying gold and methodically divesting away from the U.S. dollar and bonds in favor of this precious metal asset, which always has intrinsic value just due to industrial needs. So how can you protect your IRA or 401k from the fallout from the landmark shift that's taking place in the real reset? Diversify with Birch Gold Group. Historically, you guys know Birch Gold has been good, and gold has always been a safe haven. Text Lumberjack to 989898. Again, that's Lumberjack to 989898, and you get a free info kit on gold and silver. Okay, from Birch Gold. Okay, so go get that. Text Lumberjack to 989898. Now listen to this. I'm going to go right to the MSNBC article and read what's going. Well, first here, I'm going to give you a brief summation that a guy on X had put together, which is pretty good. It said, breaking, devastating blow. Unelected, Harry Reid appointed Senate Parliamentarian Elizabeth McDonough just struck down the defunding of Medicaid for illegals in the big, beautiful bill and defunding gender-affirming care under Medicaid and CHIP. Okay, so let me just repeat that again. She has basically managed to strike down the defunding of Medicaid for illegals. Now, you guys have all heard Medicaid. Oh, no, Trump wants to make these big cuts to Medicaid. It's really bad, really bad. Be alarmed. Anybody who's old, anybody who's a senior citizen, get afraid because Medicaid's going away. Yeah, for illegal aliens and able-bodied workers. Young able... What the... I mean, if you believe the crap that they're trying to sell you in the media after they just told you that Iran their nuclear facility wasn't destroyed after we launched 6 bunker-busting bombs down a single hole to destroy their underground facilities, you're nuts. If you believe this, my word. If you believe the media, I don't know what to do for you. I can't help you if you're running around saying, oh, Trump didn't destroy Fort Doe, he was lying. Oh, gosh, God help us all. And now people are running around, oh, no, I'm afraid about my loss of Medicaid because it's getting funded for illegal aliens. Gosh, can everybody wake up? People read these headlines about defunding of Medicare, defunding of Medicaid, whatever. It just drives me nuts. So, a Senate Parliamentarian who was appointed in 2012, they serve, I want you to know this, the Senate Parliamentarian serves at the pleasure of whom? Who can fire the Senate Parliamentarian? Let me see if my audience knows this. It's happened before. It happened back in 2001. That was during Trent Lott's term. How many of you know who can fire the Senate Parliamentarian. Okay, so eliminating, yeah, Thune, exactly, the Senate leader, not the president, crazy cat lady, but the Senate leader. So John Thune can her. So who should you be calling today, folks? It's a real thing. The vice president can override her. Okay, I'm understanding that now. A vice president can override her. So J.D. Vance could step into this. But this is a big deal because if you look at the one big beautiful bill, there's things about this bill I don't like. You all understand that, right? I'm not like completely excited about everything that's going on in this bill. I do understand politics is sausage making and Trump's doing the best job he can and whatever. So let's just let that kind of, I'll get that out. But she said the provisions that limit federal dollars for states that give illegal aliens Medicaid benefits require 60 votes, not 50 plus one. Well, that would make that impossible. Those elements of the bill would then be pulled out. You all understand that, right? Because they're not going to get to 60 bills. No, Democrats aren't going, oh, yeah, we need to get rid of Medicaid for illegals, even though that seems perfectly sensible. Okay? And defunding gender affirming care, whatever the hell that means, under Medicaid and CHIP. So she was appointed by Harry Reid. Okay? So she also struck out limits on Medicaid, Medicare, and ACA premium tax credits for non-citizen migrants, for non-citizen immigrants, I should say. She struck out the limits on Medicaid, Medicare, and ACA, that's Affordable Care Act, premium tax credit for non-citizen immigrants. Why? I mean, there's so much to say on this, but let me just... Oh, God help me. Okay, let me read this first, okay? I'm going to go to the MSNBC piece. Donald Trump's one big, beautiful bill. And I'm reading to you from the Media because the Media is celebrating, folks. Usually you can tell when the Media is panicking. I've got something else they're panicking on. If you guys want me to give you some good news, I will. But I want you to take action on this by either calling Thune, responding to him on X, or something to fire this parliamentarian lady, okay? And if you need her name, it's Elizabeth McDonough. Again, she was appointed by Harry Reid in 2012. And she advises on rules in the United States Senate. Okay? Here, in fact, I'm going to read something just so you understand who this lady is. As the presiding officer of the Senate may not be, and usually is not, aware of the parliamentary situation currently facing the Senate, the parliamentary staff sits second from the left on the Senate dais to advise the presiding officer on how to respond to inquiries and motions from senators, including, things like the sergeant at arms will restore order in the gallery. The role of the parliamentary staff is advisory, and the presiding officer of Senate may overrule the advice of the parliamentarian. Okay, in practice, this is rare. The most recent example of a vice president, as president of the United States, overruling the parliamentarian was Nelson Rockefeller in 1975. The ruling was extremely controversial, to such an extent that the leaders of both parties immediately met and agreed that they did not want this precedent to stand. So the next week, the Senate agreed and altered the rule under consideration via standard procedure. The Senate Majority Leader may also fire the parliamentarian, as occurred in 2001 during a dispute between parliamentarian Robert Dove and Majority Leader Trent Lott. Now, there's so much to unpack here and so much to say, but here's the thing. There are rules that the Senate abides by. I don't want Democrats running roughshod over long-standing rules that have allowed the Senate to function in such a way that we are not able to cram bad crap through. Am I making sense to y'all? Just I want to understand. If you understand what I'm saying, I am not saying that this lady is doing right, but I understand the precedent that could be set. Okay, if the rule is actually valid. So tell me this: how is it valid that we need 60 votes to eliminate funding a Medicaid for illegals? for illegals. Well, we need 60 votes in the Senate to eliminate funding for illegal aliens for collecting our tax dollars? What the hell is this? Honestly, how is that? I'm trying to understand this. I'm looking into all this, but this is nuts. Okay. Here they are, just cheering this on MSNBC. Donald Trump's one big beautiful bill continues to run into trouble as it makes its way through the Senate. Over the weekend, Senate Parliamentarian Elizabeth McDonough ruled that several key parts of Trump's tax and spending bill violate the chamber's rules and recommend they be removed from the final package. These parts include Senate Republicans' attempt to make it significantly more difficult and more expensive to challenge the Trump administration in court. The provision, now, obviously, the reason Trump wants this in there is because everything's being challenged in court. Okay? The provision would have required plaintiffs seeking an emergency court order to pay the federal government a bond covering all potential costs and damages before a judge could impose injunctions or restraining orders against the government. This actually is beautiful. The provision would have required plaintiffs. So it's limited to this. Listen to this. This is actually really great. I am totally for this. Tell me if you guys are for this. Okay? It makes it more difficult, more expensive to challenge the Trump administration in court. The provision would have required plaintiffs seeking an emergency court order. So only if they're seeking an emergency court order. Okay? This isn't just like standard court proceedings. Smash that like if you would. This is going to get good right here. Okay? They would have, if seeking an emergency court order, so all these TROs and emergency orders, right? To pay the federal government a bond covering all potential costs and damages before a judge could impose injunctions or restraining orders against the government. This is phenomenal. So just think about this. So Judge, let's just say McConnell, because that judge has been terrible. There's been others, but let's just say he issues a temporary restraining order against the Trump administration being able to cut funding to USAID. No, you can't do that. Well, there's costs associated with that. And as the funding comes back online, millions of dollars. And now all these NGOs who are filing suits through these, I'm not going to use that word, all these corrupt attorneys who are only in it to game themselves money, okay? They would have to come up with millions to put forth a bond that they could lose for their erroneous filings. How many of you would be excited to see that in the one big beautiful bill? Or how many of you feel that that's protecting the government too much? Like, I think that's reasonable. Not saying you can't take him to court, not saying you have to put up billion-dollar bonds just to take him to court, but if you're trying to get a temporary restraining order, an emergency court order, that then you would have to cover that if you are going bad. I actually think that's okay. I could live with that even under a Democrat president, I believe. Okay? Covering all potential costs before a judge could impose injunctions or restraining orders against the government. Alicia Bannon, director of the Judiciary Program at New York University's Brennan Center for Justice. By the way, Brennan Center for Justice is a misnomer. Do you know who that's named after? Yeah, Brennan, just like the Brennan Election Center and all this other crap. That guy, Brennan, is the worst. He's not interested in justice, okay? She told the San Francisco Chronicle that such bonds could amount to millions of dollars. Of course it could. And make it financially impossible for ordinary Americans to go to court to protect their rights. Folks, this isn't ordinary Americans going to court to protect their rights. This is NGOs and attorneys acting on behalf of political interests and political machines and illegal aliens trying to get this stuff passed. This is so stupid. They always pull this crap. They always use these words. Oh, it's going to affect average everyday Americans who want to take the government to court. How many average everyday Americans are taking the government to court and asking for temporary restraining orders and emergency filings? How many? Not that many. God help us all. I can't stand the language of these people. As Trump continues to test the limits of his executive power, preliminary injunctions and temporary restraining orders have been used to halt or delay several of his administration's actions, including the efforts to deport immigrants, mass firings of federal employees, and an attempt to revoke Harvard University's ability to enroll international students. Again, these are all the bad decisions that have utilized these temporary restraining orders. Oh, you can't deport illegal aliens. You can't fire federal employees. And you can't revoke Harvard's. And he didn't revoke Harvard. Oh, gosh, God help us all. Pulling government funding from Harvard is a good thing. In another blow to the bill, McDonough threw out a provision that would have allowed states to carry out border security. Oh, heaven forbid. States are allowed to carry out their own border security. My gosh. And immigration enforcement, duties that traditionally have belonged to the federal government. How many of you are comfortable if you have illegal aliens in your state and your state law enforcement takes that on themselves and carries out border security by getting these illegal aliens out of here? How many of you would have a problem with that? Come on, in the chat. How many of you would have a problem with states doing that? Okay? So McDonough is trying to throw out a provision that would have allowed states to carry out border security and enforcement, immigration enforcement. I'm okay with that. I don't care if they traditionally belong to the federal government. There's such a big problem here in the United States due to the Joe Biden regime, which wasn't even run by Joe Biden. We had the auto pen scandal, bunch of political hacks just running around using the auto pen. I am totally fine with us getting them out of here. And the Democrats are freaking out. In fact, folks, I'm giving you bonus material on this show. Once we get past this, folks, how many of you are going to contact Senator Thune's office and ask him to get rid of this parliamentarian? How many of you? How many of you? Just say yes in the chat if you are willing to do that. If you are willing to reach out to Thune in some way, shape, or form today, either by calling his office, replying to one of his posts on X, or emailing him or something. Can you guys all do something about this? Because if we get this stuff stripped from the one big beautiful bill and we have to put up with the other crap sandwich shit that's in it, I am not going to be happy. Not at all. Okay? There's so much I don't like that's in there already, and now the only good things that are in there, they're trying to get them out of there. I'm sorry, I'm worked up. Stuff pisses me off. Okay, we are getting hosed by these hacks in the government, and an unelected hack at that. That's right, Michelle. Get your My Coffee at mystore.com. Thank you. I'm so glad I saw that. Please go support my sponsor, mypillow.com/lumberjack or my store. Get some of his My Coffee. It's phenomenal. All right, hold on. We're going to move on. I'm worked up now. I'm sorry. That was funny to me, Michelle. Thank you for posting that link at just the right time. By the way, free shipping at My Pillow, and the coffee you can get at My Pillow. Free shipping on your entire order. Go get it, even the big stuff. All right. Part of my special deal that you get by listening to Lumberjack Logic. Okay, the latest rulings are a series of setbacks for the bill in the Senate. In recent days, the Parliamentarian also rejected Republicans' attempts to gut the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and to slash food aid. By the way, the CFPB, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, is complete crap. It's not there to protect consumers. It's there to be Elizabeth Warren's pet project to make it look like she's doing something when she's taking all the money from Big Pharma. Since Republicans are using a budget reconciliation process in an effort to shield the bill from a Democratic filibuster, McDonough has been tasked with ticking through the 1,000-page proposal to ensure it complies with the Byrd rule, named for the late Senator Robert C. Byrd of West Virginia, which bars the inclusion of policy matters unrelated to the budget. Okay, first off, can you imagine? Do you guys know who Robert Byrd is? For how many of you know who Robert Byrd is? He was, coincidentally, a Democrat. And what is Robert Byrd famous for? Barbara, I will holler all I want to if I get worked up. That's right, KKK guy, Voodoo Crab. Yes, Mr. KKK guy. So this is the Byrd rule. You can tell there's problems with the rule right away. Okay. KKK Byrd. Okay. Who Joe Biden, I think, called him like, was that whatever, gave a eulogy for him. All right. Which bars the inclusion of policy matters unrelated to the budget. Now, let me ask you a question. Is defunding Medicaid for illegals and transgender surgeries, is that unrelated to the budget, folks? Is that unrelated to the budget? Should this be stripped because it's unrelated to the budget? Help me out now in the chat. Am I just seeing this all wrong? It seems to me that cutting Medicaid for illegals and transgender operations would be very related to the budget. Folks, if you're new to my channel, subscribe. It's free. Free for you today. I'm going to give you a free bonus thing once I get through this. The so-called Byrd bath is likely to continue as Senate leadership rushes to get the bill to the floor before Trump's July 4th deadline. The expected changes could signal more trouble ahead for the mega bill, which passed the House in May by a razor-thin vote and already faced an uphill battle in the Senate. So I am going to do something. If you guys are not following me on X, you need to. And I am going to post, Command-C. I had to open a different window here. Hold on. I'm just Neil E. Johnson on X, and I am going to post this so you guys, there it is. I'm going to post Eric Doherty's status on X. Okay, I just posted it. So it's going to be at the top of my feed on X, and you can reference this and read that. And then, if you're going to respond to Senator Thune on X, and I just ask that you would, that's actually a tremendous platform because it can gain traction. The best thing about X is not the news on X. There's a lot of crap news on X. But the thing that it really allows you to do, this is how we were able to put pressure on Senator Lee, okay, and he is recalibrated on the public lands, okay, was simply through a campaign that we did on X and others did on X, okay? They need to hear from you. All right. Now, and it can get viral traction. Okay, so we've covered here. So that's all going on. We cannot have those Medicaid provisions cut out of the big, beautiful bill. All right? Y'all with me on this? Now, I want to say something else. What was I was going to give you bonus material. Oh, yes. Where is it? Oh, this is so good. Wait. Oh, yeah. Here it is. I got it for you. Okay, so since I was so worked up over that, okay, now I'm going to give you good news. How many of my lovely audience want some good news? Good news to the next level. I'm not overselling this, folks. I am telling you, this is good news. How many of you want it? Otherwise, I can end the stream right now. I'm trying to get the chat rate up. I'll just tell you what I'm doing. Hopefully, y'all want the good news. All right. People want the good news. Gerald, I saw that. Thank you very much. All right. Listen to this. You want to hear a freak out in the mainstream media? CNN, this is the headline they ran. Trump is creating a new universe of people to deport. Kind of a sister article to that in MSNBC. The Supreme Court gave Trump a permission slip for mass deportation. Okay, so let me start with CNN first. Listen to this whining. The full scope of the Trump administration's mass deportation plan, which has been evident in theory, is only just starting to come together in practice. And its scale has come as a surprise to many Americans. Not to me. Actually, I'm hoping for more. This week, the Supreme Court blessed, for now, the administration's effort to deport people from countries such as Cuba and Venezuela to places other than their homeland, including nations halfway around the world in Africa. Now, here's the thing. I want to say something really quick on this because I want to say this. I want you guys to understand me because I think people misunderstand what I say, and there's so much sound biting and people just like tribalism today. It just blows my mind. I would much rather that these people get deported to their countries of origin than have to be transported to Africa. Okay? Can I say, are you guys okay with that? I would much rather that be the case. I don't want them to have to be sent to Sudan or wherever in Africa. Okay, I'm really quite serious about this. I want them to be sent back to their homelands. So the question is, why aren't they being sent back to their homelands, folks? Why not? Because their homeland won't take them back because they sent them here in the first place because they're criminals. Yeah, no, Trump did offer to fly people home, Tracy. That's 100% true. So there's that aspect of this too, $1,000 and a free ticket, right? But the countries of origin aren't taking them back. Do you guys understand that? So these are hardened criminal illegals. They were sent out of their country to here. When Trump talked about they're emptying the prisons and the insane asylums, that's why. That's why these countries don't want them back. So now we send them to South Sudan. The Democrats have a freak fest. But still, even so, I would much rather they're sent back to their countries of origin so their families can visit them in prison. I do see the humanity of people, okay? Even criminals, okay? I have friends who do prison ministry, family members, prison ministry, converting people to the love of Christ, and they can be forgiven of every single thing they've ever done. Okay? But they're not able to. So here we go. In Florida, construction began. Guys, have you heard about this? I mean, I'm sorry, this is awesome. In Florida, construction began on a migrant detention center intended to be sort of Alcatraz in the Everglades. Have you guys seen this? There it is. John Monk even got to it before I even got it all out. Alligator Alcatraz. Now, I'm going to make a video about this. Please watch it on my uploads because I have pulled some of the funniest clips off social media about this. It's going to be epic, okay? It's going to be just a phenomenal video because people are freaking out. Now, why would they freak out? I mean, if you stay in the prison and don't try to escape, you don't have to deal with alligators. I'm just saying it's only the people trying to escape the prison that would have to deal with the alligators. I mean, there's no alligators on the prison ground, folks. Y'all understand that? There's no, they don't even have a no fence. Is it no fence? I don't know. I thought I saw a fence around part of it. But anyways, the point being is that if you're not trying to escape, you don't need to worry about the alligators. So don't give me this crap about it's so cruel and inhumane. Just don't try to escape. Is barbed wire and electric fencing more acceptable to these libtards? No. Okay. So anyways, they're building this thing. And CNN reported exclusively that the administration will soon make a large universe of people who have been working legally after seeking asylum eligible for deportation. Oh no, the people who are faking asylum needs, okay? These people from some of these countries, it's fake asylum seekers, okay? Now they're working legally under their fake asylum seeking, and now Trump is working to make them eligible for deportation. Good. Again, I keep looking at what's happening in these industries when these illegals are sent packing as they do these immigration workforce raids and American citizens are getting jobs. We should all be excited about that. Shouldn't we? Shouldn't we be excited about illegal aliens going home and dealing, they can go be with their families and our workers actually having work? I mean, the Democrats are pathetic. Who's going to pick your vegetables? Who's going to wash your house? How many of you even have a house cleaner? I don't have a house cleaner. Who the hell? I mean, these people. This is actually quite funny, folks, that these Democrats run around talking about who's going to pick your vegetables. It's the new who's going to pick your cotton. But it's not only that. Who's going to build your homes? Who's going to clean your houses? I mean, wouldn't it be nice if we all had cleaning ladies and all these hacks on MSNBC act like everybody does? Anyways, on to this again. A new universe of deportable people. You have this exclusive report, Wolf says. You have this exclusive report about a large universe of new people the Trump administration might be trying to deport. What did you find out? Alvarez says. The plans that the administration has been working on are targeting people who came into the U.S. unlawfully and then applied for asylum while in the country. Let me read that sentence to you one more time again, folks, and see if you have any problem with it. The plans that the administration has been working on are targeting people who came into the U.S., let me read this again, unlawfully, and then applied for asylum while in the country. Wait, they came into our country unlawfully, and Trump wants to deport them, and CNN's freaking out. The plan here is to dismiss those asylum claims, which could affect potentially hundreds of thousands of people, and then make them immediately deportable. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wait, they came in here unlawfully, and now they would be immediately deportable? It also puts the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, the federal agency responsible for managing federal immigration benefits, at the center of the president's deportation campaign, because not only are they the ones that manage these benefits, but they have also been delegated the authority by the Department of Homeland Security to place these individuals in fast-track deportation proceedings and to take actions to enforce immigration laws. Oh no. Fast-track deportation. Wait! There's deportation proceedings? You mean they get due process? Oh, they get the due process afforded people who came here unlawfully. Decker's post. Okay, this, folks, is the greatest comment of all time today. He said, who's going to drag our elk? We both hunt. We drag our own elk. We pack it in quarters and get it out of there. But it's such a great one. Who's going to pick our cotton? Who's going to drag our elk? I'll tell you who's going to drag my elk. George. George, that's right. I'm telling you, I'm working on him. He's going to go elk hunting with me, folks. I'm going to have a black man carry out my elk. I'm sorry. I am really having fun with these lift hearts today. Oh, George. Oh, gosh. He would laugh at that so hard. Oh, my word. Anyways. You know what he told me yesterday? We were texting each other. I was telling about elk hunting. He goes, so how would this work? And I said, I said, I might be out there longer. I said, but you could just come for a few days. And he's like, see, this is where you lose me. A few days. Guys, come up with the who's going to blank. The best who's going to blank comments. I mean, we got who's going to drag your elk. Do you guys have any others? Who's going to what, folks? I'll read them here in the chat. I'm going to pause from the article. Okay, I want your best. Who's going to pick your cotton? Who's going to pick your vegetables? Who's going to clean your home? Who's going to wash your car? Did you see the car wash getting raided the other day? Yeah, and the business owner crying about it. Well, why does the business owner just find some? We can't take care of our homeless and drug addicts, let alone these migrants, right? Who's going to drag your elk? Who's going to dress me? Who's going to do my nails? That's right. Most of those are foreigners. Who's going to mow my grass? That's right. Come on, no, I want some funny ones. Remember, who was it who said the other day, who's going to wipe your butt? Who's going to wipe your butt, folks? Oh, gosh, this one's good. Tater Bite says, who's going to eat your pets? Oh my gosh, that might be better than who's going to drag your elk. I've got to recover from that one. Who's going to cobble my shoes? Who's going to teach me Spanish? Oh my gosh. You guys are funny. Who's going to make my tacos? Do my laundry? Who's going to give me free I know. You guys. You need to film that elk hunting trip. James, okay, so I have a channel, just so you guys know, and I'm going to put up some other elk hunts. My daughter's working on my one of my last elk hunts. That'll be posted up there. Neil of the North, okay? In fact, Voodoo Crab or Michelle, somebody can post some links to Neil of the North. That's another channel I have, and I do have an elk hunt up there with my son. It is awesome. Seriously, you should go watch it. My son was actually doing some of the filming, so some of the camera footage is a little shaky, but on a whole, it's really good. We got the shot. I got a nice elk out there. Bow hunting. I'm a bow hunter, man. Who's going to do the My Pillow commercial? Wait, who's going to protest the? Yeah, who's going to protest exactly? All right, we've had some fun, folks. Back to the news. All right. They're all upset about this. What types of people is the administration targeting? Temporary protective status, the guy responded, only applies to people who are currently residing in the U.S. It's a form of humanitarian relief. The United States acknowledges that the conditions in your country are not the ones that they could send you back to. The Trump administration has started to peel back and said that there are the conditions are sufficient, therefore we can send you back. So again, there's this TPS status. They say, well, we don't want to send them back to the homeland because it's too bad. The reality is some of these countries are bad. That doesn't mean that we have to take every single person in and that we're suddenly better. The issue is assimilation. I think most people don't have a big problem with legal immigrants. I mean, a lot of, like, my grandparents, excuse me, were one of the first 3 or 4 families to settle the Sorona, Wisconsin area. They came here on a boat. They became legal immigrants. They went through a naturalization process, and they believed in the United States of America. They didn't carry Mexican and Iranian flags out on the streets. They carried American flags, and they were excited to be part of the great American experiment. The American dream is real, folks. And for those who just want to come here and tear our country down, I have absolutely no time for them. But I love, actually, some of these legal immigrants who come here and go through the naturalization process are actually better citizens than some of our citizens here, because they actually love this country so much, because they have escaped something and they see the value of freedom, because they've escaped communist control and they are so excited for the freedom. Okay. It's these people. Did you know that they sold out of Iranian flags on Amazon? How many of you have heard this? They sold out of Iranian flags on Amazon. What's the next flag these people are going to wave? It's absolutely pathetic. They're upset because we did the greatest surgical military strike of all time. Okay. Dropped 6 bunker busters down one hole. I mean, our military, the entire operation was phenomenal. And the media tries to impugn that and elevate illegal immigrants. It is absolutely mind-numbing to me. Folks, do me a favor. Please smash that like. Do leave a comment here before you leave. I'm about to wrap this up. Please do go check out my sponsor, Birch Gold. Text Lumberjack to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold and silver. And my pillow. Free shipping right now. That is exclusive to you, Lumberjack Logic listeners. mypillow.com/lumberjack. Or actually, what I really tell everybody to do is call the 800 number at 1-800-568-2865, 1-800-568-2865. Call that number and you are actually giving people who work from home honest work, and it's beautiful. Stay-at-home parents and so on. And Mike employs a lot of recovering drug addicts. Mike is a wonderful guy. Okay. So always worth supporting him. And if you were looking for a mattress, right now is the time. Their mattresses are phenomenal. My son and daughter-in-law bought one the last time they ran the free shipping and are so happy with it. So it is a combination foam and coil spring mattress. Mike was designed in the development of that, and he just wants to get a good night's sleep. So if it's time to get a new mattress, go get one from MyPillow, mypillow.com/lumberjack, or call 1-800-568-2865. And if you got a mattress that isn't quite working out for you, but you can't afford the whole mattress, get that mattress topper. I love y'all. Keep fighting the good fight. All right. Peace out.